Yes, yes, so Hairless here. Christmas time 2014, Pentatonix, Mary Did You Know. Compared to the Christmas songs we've been doing recently, the origins are actually pretty new, came about at the end of the 20th century. This one is definitely one of the more heavily requested Christmas songs for me to react to. So let us get straight into it.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water?
Kevin singing.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Did you know?
Nearly 2 minutes there went past just like that. Wow, I really like that so far. It's very pensive. That's the song though, that's the mood of the song. The song is asking a lot of questions, it's very thought-provoking. And I feel the arrangement so far is a very good representation of this kind of pensive aura that the song is giving. Lovely opening, there's a lot to talk about there. First thing, 5 parts in the intro, Kevin singing, love to see it. So the first main thing that caught my attention was here, and it's that there's no obvious bass part. In fact, Kevin actually looks to have the lowest part, and it's Kevin at the lowest part here that's initiating each of these dum 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 like sequences, which are very nice.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you?
And the arrangement is done this way on purpose so that when Avi comes in here with the melody, there's no obvious bass part suddenly missing. It doesn't feel any more empty than it did before. There's no need for Scott to fill in the bass part. What's more interesting though is that it's in 4-part harmony without a beat. So they're purposefully not making use of every member, which means that there's room for this arrangement to grow later on when they start using all 5 parts. I think that this dum 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 section here is actually really smart. Cue Sir Hairless from the future so we can see how smart the entries are to create this effect. So Hairless from the future here. So this is where Scott has the solo, Mary Did You Know, and then Avi takes over. The coloured numbers here that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 just refers to whose entry it is. So it's Kevin, then Mitch, then Kevin again, and then Kirsty, and that repeats as a sequence. And why the arrangement is so clever is because their entries come in every quaver or every half beat after each other. Next thing that caught my eye is this 4-3 suspension. I spoke about it in my Carol of the Bells reaction where Scott had it. Guess who has it again? Scott.
Face of God. Face of God.
It's simple but nice. As I said in the previous reaction, it's a technique used to create tension. We have this section.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby...
Again, we see a handover of melody from one person to the next. I noticed this a lot in O Come All Ye Faithful, my last reaction to Pentatonix. And again, this time it's Kirsty to Mitch. Much like for a large portion of Carol of the Bells, sorry to keep referencing that, but it's fresh in my mind, there's this idea of pairs. Mitch and Kirsty, Avi and Scott. What I just said about referencing Carol of the Bells, I actually like the fact that we can see similarities between their different versions of songs, especially when the mood is so different. Carol of the Bells was energetic, jumpy. This isn't exactly that, is it? So I feel like I'm really getting to know Pentatonix a lot better now and understand their musicality. Then the final thing about this section is actually from here right until the end of where I paused before, which is 30 seconds after this. I just want to point out Avi's part. This is the first time that we have a bass and a beat accompaniment. Again, Kevin and Avi just working so well together.
No baby boy who gives sight to a blind man.
This section, rhythmically, for them, is pretty much as simple as it gets. They're only moving to support the changes in chords. And Avi's part here, melodically, is very, very restricted. The whole range of Avi for this passage is here, F sharp to B. Except for once when he goes up to a D and then comes down. But that's it. You don't need to know much about music to know that that is a very, very restricted. This is the one time when Avi goes higher, but then he comes straight back down. His part is dum, 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 dum. So listen up for that.
Boy has walked where angels trod.
When considering the overall feeling you're going for in an arrangement as a whole, it's so important to consider each voice as its own line. We don't want elaborate, we don't want showy here. The fact that Avi's range is so small for a whole section of that song explains that perfectly. Again, to go back to Carol of the Bells, as we can see on screen now from my transcription from the very nice counterpoint polyphonic section, look at Avi's part jumping around. There's a jump which is 1 octave, which is more than the whole range of his part that we've seen so far. Right, let's carry on.
Piece of God.
Oh, sorry, Kevin. That was a nice previous bit, though, and there were some things that I want to point out before I forget. That seemed like the climax. There was a nice bit of polyphony there at the start. Every line, you can think of it as having its own melody, all intertwining nicely. Just to point out a few things that caught my ears. So right at the start of that section, it's Kirsty opening, and she has a statement here. She comes in on that note, and she's really honing in on it. No vibrato at all. It's a really flat sound, but then the second that she changes to the next note, there's suddenly vibrato. The choice here of no vibrato creates a more piercing. I don't know if piercing is the right word actually, but you get my point. It definitely catches your attention. Next part, Kevin joining in with the singing here, no beat. His part, Mary, did you know? Listen up for that. His part here is important for 2 reasons. He is the method of tension here. He holds on the note on no. Mary, did you know? Listen to that again. He was holding that through, which is a suspension. Suspension is where you prolong your note from the previous chord into the next chord after everyone else has changed, which should then resolve, i.e. it should then move to fit in with the other notes around them. So it should go, no. But he doesn't. He cuts out and he leaves it unresolved. This creates tension. His entry is also the first of this section that comes in on the first beat of the bar or measure. You'd think that should be normal, right? Entering on the first beat of the bar. But every entry we've heard previously in Kirsty, Mitch and Scott has come on the 3rd beat of the bar. This is assuming that there are 4 beats in each bar. I'll play back the section leading up to Kevin's part and I'll be counting on top of the music so you can see. What this means when they come in on the 3rd beat of the bar is that on the first beat, when you'd expect the entry, is the word no. They're all saying no. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Kevin on the first beat of the bar. As this emphasizes the word no, this leads on to my next point, which is this part here. What makes it sound so fuller there? And at first I was thinking it was Avi's descending bass. When the bass is up in the range of the other parts and then comes down, it creates a fuller sound naturally. But it's also the first time they sing the word no together at the same time, except for Scott because he's starting a new line. So I'll play back that recent section, and to emphasize when they all come in on no together, when each person enters, I'll just say who's coming in. Scott, Mitch, Kirsty, Kevin, Scott, Mitch, and now they're all there on no. Then the idea of pairs again, Kirsty and Mitch singing the same rhythms, harmonising with each other, and again, Kevin and Avi. Kevin's really accentuating Avi's same note bass. Listen to Avi's part, it's just the same note. Then at the climax, there's basically no movement in any part actually. Kirsty and Mitch do a tiny quick move up onto the note before going back down. It's more noticeable in Kirsty, but Mitch harmonises perfectly at the same rhythm with her on that. It's so subtle, but it actually somehow increases the fullness of the sound here. So Kirsty's going, and Mitch, so subtle. And then Scott has the same note, and then Avi has the same note, but he's just moving down the octave. It's crazy the effect that can have on the overall thing. So there's basically no movement here, but it sounds like there is. Alright, it was Kevin's solo. Go on, Kevin. I think let's carry on from there.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day...
He's a nice voice.
Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? That sleeping child you're holding is the great
Ooh, unresolved ending there. Harmonically, that ending to me is a bit unresolved. I think this is a really nice touch because the lyrics of the song to me are unresolved. The lyrics are essentially a series of questions. Do they ever get answered? I don't think so. Unresolution galore, hey? Yeah, that was a nice one for sure. Over 300 million views. Wow. I like that this, I guess it's the second climax now, the final climax. And I like that this is a very, very powerful climax. There's no trickery here. There's nothing complex in the music at base level. It's just the bog standard, what we call a perfect cadence, which is one of the most standard chord changes to like end the section. You just go from the fifth note of the scale back to the first note of the scale, with the first note of the scale being the key, the tonic. So you'd think here, after listening to that everyone is really high up in their register, like belting it out. They're not. It's only Mitch who is. And I think that that's what Mitch's voice has the power to do. It can create this atmosphere for the whole group of everyone like belting out really high up. It's only him. I'll show you that section on the piano just to show where everyone is. So for that climax, this will be Mitch's part. It's a great part. And then Avi's part, all it will do will go. That's the most movement. So we'll play it there from It's the Great I Am. And then apart from Mitch's part and Avi's part, the other two parts will be Kirsty and Scott. And see how little movement there is, yet how this climax sounds so magnifique. Very, very clever arrangement, I think. Well, yeah, Mary, did you know? I feel like there was quite a lot to say about that one, so I'm not going to say anything else. I think we can leave it there. Thank you to everyone who recommended that one. That was great. As always, thank you for watching. We'd appreciate a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.